welcome back. Today I'm going to be canning up some rump roast meat. I've got them chopped up into approximately 1-inch pieces, and I have about 5 pounds, give or take a little bit. I've got most things all set up here. I've got my jars right over here. They're clean. They are sanitized, but they're cold because today I'm doing a cold raw pack. Okay, so the liquid I'm going to be adding is cold. My canner and the water inside it is cold, and I've already added the 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and I think we're ready to get started. I'm going to start with 4 jars. I've got 6 jars prepared. I don't think I'm going to have 6 jars worth of meat. I just don't think so. But let me bring this down so you can see how easy this really is. Now let's see. Oh, I should have gloves on. It would really be smart. Hang on. It's just easier to do with gloves. It's not that I mind touching the meat. It's just easier to get everything done with some gloves on. So let's see. Maybe I could just bring the other bottles over here. Or, sorry, jars, not bottles. There we go. Now everything's going to be right there so I can fill them as I need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add meat to the jars, and I'm going to leave. I have not seasoned the meat. I haven't done anything. The only thing I'm going to add to the jars is some fine ground Himalayan sea salt, and for that matter only a quarter teaspoon to each jar, and that's only for flavor. It has nothing to do with the preservation of it. Now the other thing I did want to say is that I need to leave a generous 1-inch headspace because this meat will release liquid of its own. So by leaving a generous 1-inch, like 1.5, because this is a 1-inch mark right here. So if I leave about that much space, then any liquid that the meat produces will have space to grow and move around the jars. I'm also not going to pack meat down too tight because it needs the liquid needs to be able to circulate throughout the meat. Okay, so just gonna I have a feeling I'm gonna have maybe 4 jars total. I wish I had more, but these were the roasts that were on sale, and so we only got those that we, we're saving money on. Because this is, this is about saving money and saving space in the freezer and, having it pre-prepared. So whenever we want to eat, we just pull one of these out. See? Pretty much what I thought. 4 jars, none overfilled, but pretty good shape. Okay, I may need to cut up the chicken that I'm going to process too, but I'm going to have to do that a little later because this canner will only take 7 jars, and I don't have 7 jars worth of meat, and I'm going to have a lot more than 7 jars worth of chicken. So now that those are all filled up with however much they're going to take, I'm going to add a little bit of beef bouillon. And I'm going to do it really slowly because I only want a little bit in here. I don't want a whole lot. I don't even want half a container. I just want like a quarter jar. See, this one has a little bit too much. a little bit over here. Yeah, see, right there, that's about all I want right there. See, right about here. See, that one, right about here. Well, that's the only amount of liquid I want in these jars, because this meat is going to release broth of its own. And you don't want it to overflow. This one's taking sweet time getting down there. And as the broth is released, of course, it starts moving around the jar. Now, I am going to use this to debubble, though I'm not going to be able to debubble a whole lot because this is mostly solid meat. But I am doing it anyway. And again, I am leaving about 1.5 inches headspace. Now, mind you, this is about 5 pounds of meat, so there's just a tad more than a pound in each one of these 1.5 pint size jars. So this would be ideal for just about any meal for 2 people, maybe 3 people if, you know, they're not big eaters. And then to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt for flavor. I don't want to over season it because I want it to be adaptable. I want to be able to make other things with it, you know, and have the flexibility to add different seasonings as the need arises. Now, I am going to wipe off the rims with my paper towel and my white vinegar. And mostly, I did have a funnel, so I don't think the meat touched the rim, but I did add salt, and there could be little salt granules on the edges of the jar. And I don't want that. I want it to be able to seal properly. So I'm just going to go around and wipe that off really good. Now, my lids are cold. They are clean. They're disinfected or sterilized, but they are cold. And they're just gonna go on up here just like this. And I'm gonna put the lids on. Fingertip tight, guys. You know, you take it, you put it on, curl it easy, and then doop, fingertip tight. Not too tight. You don't want, you know, the air inside the jars have to have a way of escaping. That's how the seal is developed. So if you don't give it a way to escape, it will not seal. All right, that's it. And that's it, guys. See how easy that was? I had to pause y'all there for a second just so I could move this because it's very, very difficult to move. You know, I'm seeing a little defect in this jar. So I think I'm going to take a minute and transfer everything over to another one of the clean jars. And that's because I do not want anything to go wrong with that jar. And sometimes little defects like that don't really affect the jar, but sometimes they can cause the jar to crack. And all you need to do is watch my first video on making what was it, beef stew. One of the jars had to have had a defect and it cracked on the bottom, and I lost the entire bottom of that jar, which is not a good thing. Now, this lid has already been on the jar, so it's dirty. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put a brand new lid on this jar and a clean ring. Oh, come on, get in there. I'm having a little technical difficulty. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to put these in the pressure canner, it's only 4, so it is still going to take me, 4 jars or not, it is still going to take a 90-minute processing session. It's going to take 90 minutes to process these 4 jars. Meat generally takes 90 minutes. If you're doing it in a quart jar, it's 90 minutes. If you're doing it in a pint jar, sometimes it could be 75 minutes. But because this is a pint and a half, we're going to process it at the same amount of time as a quart jar. Now I do have to say, don't forget to use your white vinegar to wipe the rims. Don't forget to add your white vinegar to your pressure canner so that your jars do not get cloudy. It doesn't affect the taste of the food, but it does make the jars cloudy. Let's see, what else I need to say. Make sure that your ring is well oiled. Make sure that this little lever here runs free and that you can see. Just kind of aim it out at the light and make sure that you can see out of your little exhaust valve. And I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing, so I'm going to make sure real quick that it's clear. I'll be right back. Okay, I have one of these teeny tiny little things. Let's bring it over here where the camera is. Can you see it? It's just a little scrubby. And I'm just going to put it through just to make sure. It just had a drop of water in it. See, now I can see clearly. It was just a drop of water. But you got to be safe. Alright, and then I'm going to line these up. Come on, why am I not lining? There we go. I'm going to seal it. And I'm going to light my stove and put it on medium high. Now this is going to take a while to heat up, guys, because it's completely cold. So it has to slowly heat up, and then it has to start building pressure. Now when the pressure starts coming out of this little exhaust valve, and it's a solid stream of steam coming out, then I have to set a timer for 10 minutes and let that steam vent for a solid 10 minutes. Once that happens, I will be able to put on my little weight and wait for the pressure to reach 10 pounds of pressure. Now, for me, at my altitude, which is between 0 and 1,000 feet above sea level, for me, it's 10 pounds of pressure. Look up what your area is. Find out what altitude you're at, and then consult your paperwork for your personal pressure cooker, pressure canner. It should tell you, even in that little booklet that comes with it, how many pounds of pressure you need to set your little weight at, and your little gauge, if you have a gauge, for your particular altitude. It may or may not be the same as mine. Okay? So this is going to take a while, and I'm not going to sit here and just blah 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 the whole time. So I will bring you back when this starts, the steam starts to vent properly, so that you can see what it looks like, and then we'll take it from there. Okay? We'll see you in a bit. Okay, so the steam is starting to look more and more steady. There's a little steam coming out of here too. It's starting to look more and more steady. So I think I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to let it vent like this for 10 solid minutes, okay? Wish I had a quick set, but I don't. Alright, so once that has vented for 10 solid minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and put the little weight on it, and I'm going to wait for it to go up to 10 pounds of pressure, and then I'm going to time it for 90 minutes. And I will bring you back after the 90 minutes are up and the canner has cooled back down, and we'll take a look at the jars at that time, okay? So we'll see you in a YouTube minute. Okay, so we're back. Time's up. It's been up for a while and the pressure is all gone. So let's take a look at how they came out. Remember to always open away from your face. And let's take a look. Wow, that is still bubbling. I'll bring this one over to see. See that? Check it out. See? That's it. We only had 4 jars, and it doesn't look like anything went wrong. Let me give you a closer look. There you go. 4 jars, all bubbly, and in about 12 to 16 hours. I'll check the lids to make sure it's sealed, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. So that's it for now. If you found the video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified of my next videos. And thank you for joining me. I appreciate you spending your time with me. We'll see you later. Take care and God bless.